I'm gonna tell you something right now. Here's a harsh reality about building your side business. The harsh reality is whatever great idea you think will help people to solve their problem, you're not personally as great as you need to be for the business to become as wildly successful as it's supposed to be. Not when you think of the idea, probably not even when you start. You become that as time goes. If you're willing to invest in systems and yourself, you'll get there. How fast or how slow, time, experience, having a willingness to keep going will determine that. We're talking about automate, invest, and discipline. The key that I want us to remember is that there is no world that exists right now that there is not something available for you to be able to not only start your side business successfully, but to automate things. Do you realize there are so many things right now that you can automate? What's one thing you can automate? I can automate email. I can automate processes. I can automate certain tasks. And when it comes to email, like I can automate responses. I can automate follow-up. There are so many things when it comes to email that you can automate. In processes, I can automate literally by digital technology, the start of something, the stop of something, and the redirect of something, all by digital technology, right? I can automate tasks. I can go on and on. But my point is, building a side business does not have to be so hard. We make it hard because we're used to taking orders. If you're an employee, even if you're a manager, you're still used to taking orders. You're waiting on an answer. Some of us have gotten really good and developed a skill of being proactive in our roles, but proactive based on the confines of what's been given to us. I'm gonna tell you something right now. If you want your side business to be successful, you're gonna have to, the first thing you wanna do is look at every area of your current side business and start looking, okay, what are the things that I'm doing right now that are draining to me? What are the tasks? What are the operations? What are the things that I do right now that are pretty draining? I could probably automate that. Another thing you might want to think about, when I automate things, what's my goal? My goal is efficiency. You have a day job, you have things to do. So what you want to start looking at is, okay, what is draining to me? And if it's draining to me, there may be a potential process that, or something that I can use, software as a service, right? Some of you have heard of this term before, software as a service or a SaaS. What is that I can actually tap into that would allow me that, because that task to me is draining, right? For example, when I do videos, when I make stuff on YouTube, right? There are things to me that are actually draining. I don't like editing. Do I do it? Sure. But can I hand that over to someone else and potentially just pay them to do it? Yes. What does that do? That frees up the number one thing that I want us to all remember. What we are all after every day, all day, and twice on Sunday is that every last one of us want more of this. This thing right here is what we realize is the most important thing in our everyday world. Is we all want more time. You can't have a side business and want to be as hands-on and doing everything and being all in the details. That's not a business. That's micromanaging. When there is digital technology today and people who are smart enough that can automate that stuff for you, and it can save you the very thing that you assume you want in your head, but your actions show, no, you just want another job. I'm just trying to help you today. That's number one. We talked about number one. Number two is invest. When we talk about investing, what I want you to understand is there's two types of investments when it comes to your business. In systems. Look at the side business for what it is and start asking yourself better questions. If you want a conversation about better questions, go back to my last post that I did about the power of asking better questions. It can save you so much time and money. One of the biggest investments you're going to make is in the systems. What systems could I put in place that cost me money? Yes, in order to make this business run efficiently. The other investment that you're going to make is in yourself. The most interesting thing about making an investment in yourself is most of us would think that, well, the side business is investment in myself because then that means I'm bringing in extra money and then I can have options later. No, your side business is there to solve a problem that you realize you, with your unique skill set, can answer for other people. And hint, hint, the money that comes into that side business and the money that you generate for solving that problem for said customer and outside person is for the business to get better and to get more efficient. Just thought I would drop that in there. But let's talk about investing for a second. Investing, you're investing in systems and you're going to invest in yourself. When you invest in these systems, what you're ultimately trying to achieve with the investment of dollars, yes, real money into these systems, you want a system by which it will take care of the things that you need. I'll give you a perfect example. A VA might be worth the investment. Why? Because the VA might be handling a certain amount of tasks that if you were in a brick and mortar place and you didn't want to do those things, they could do. They will have systems, communication systems, delegation systems, email systems, all those other things, right? You might invest in customer relationship management tool. That's a system. You might need one. You might need to be able to do that. You might invest in ClickFunnels where people can opt in to your thing, right? And it takes them down a process. But the point is, you've got to invest in systems. So right now, if you're struggling with your side business and you're going, okay, I'm frustrated or I'm feeling burned out or I'm just feeling like I'm not getting what I need, I want you to really take a good inventory of all of the tasks, the remedial things, the stuff that you're doing, and ask yourself a realistic question. If I invest in a system to take care of this, will it free me up to do the thing that I'm really good at? Now, if you like doing those things yourself, then cool, you found something you want to do. Maybe your thought is, maybe I should find somebody to run the business because I like doing the thing within the business. That's just personal self-awareness and things that you've got to be honest with yourself about. But if you're trying to have a real side business, the key is you got to invest in systems. The other part is yourself. You need to invest in books, trainings, potentially a mastermind. There might be some boot camps that might help you, a coach to help you. The person I was when I started is not the same person that is talking to you today. It is not because I've just been doing it longer or I've got some secret sauce. You know what my secret sauce is? These things right here. I'm investing very heavily. Systems and myself. I have right now on my desk, you can't see my desk, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different books on my desk right now. Yeah, I know it sounds weird. Let me talk about books for a second. Let me share with you this thought that struck me one day and it never left me. When you think of a book, most people reading to completion. If you get a good book and something that you like, I think those are awesome. But here's the thing I want you to think about when it comes to books and investing in yourself. You got to start reading books, help you in a specific area. So I've got to start reading intentionally and books that help where I'm ignorant. And here's the thing, don't take ignorant as a negative connotation. Ignorance just means a lack of knowledge. That's all it means. I read certain books based on what I'm trying to learn then. So that's what makes me go buy books. I probably have bought somewhere north of 15 books, 15 to 20, because right now I'm in a space where I'm learning so I can prepare, so that I can have the right mindset, so that, oh, I didn't know that I could do this thing as I'm building this portion of my business. That's the way I'm reading books. But guess what? I'm gonna show you something. The kicker about reading books this way is I now read as a reference tool. They're my reference tool. I no longer do this. I don't read for completion. I'll give you a perfect example. I got 2 books here that I'm reading. One is Rich Dad's The Business of the 21st Century, because I'm going back through some things that are some principles that I love in there. Then I'm reading this book, U Squared, High Velocity Formula for Multiplying Your Personal Effectiveness in Quantum Leaps. I'm reading them to grow. So I'll look at a chapter in a book and go, oh, that's interesting. I think that's one of the lanes that I'm thinking through right now. And I'll just go read that chapter. I'll make notes. It'll help me in crafting whatever I'm building out. But I might not finish, quote unquote, the book because I use books now as a reference tool. What does that mean? I'm probably gonna come back to that book 1,000,000 times in my lifetime. I read the Bible as a reference tool. I've learned to do that. That's just me. And so what I'm telling you is when you start looking at investing in yourself, you want to start looking at everything that you're doing and going, okay, if I'm trying to build my side business, then that means if I'm going to invest, I got to invest in myself. You might be investing in some training. You might be investing in some masterminds. You might be investing in some boot camps. You might be investing in a coach. All of these things are necessary for you to get better. I'm going to tell you something right now. Here's a harsh reality about building your side business. The harsh reality is whatever great idea you think will help people to solve their problem, you're not personally as great as you need to be for the business to become as wildly successful as it's supposed to be. Not when you think of the idea, probably not even when you start. You become that as time goes. If you're willing to invest in systems and yourself, you'll get there. How fast or how slow, time, experience, having a willingness to keep going will determine that. I do think it's worth it. Discipline. You have to fall in love with some very mundane stuff. I'm gonna share a word with you that many of us like to shy away from. Most of us will shy away from the word boring. But becoming a millionaire is a very boring role because millionaires who are walking those streets every day that you don't even know that they're millionaires, the people that you would have no idea that they've actually built them a sizable side business and or just a business that works best for them and their family, they have found a way to make something so routine, so normal. They've probably automated it. They've even got things that they do for themselves that is just repetitive. And they keep doing it over and over again. Boring, while we think about that, can actually make you a whole lot of money. It actually could. But see, some of us want flashy. We want the thing that is like, oh, the new hot trend and let me jump on that. No, the people who jump on the trend are going to last as long as they're winning. People who have a successful side business, the thing that they know that you don't, is that people who have a successful side business, they're not doing the trend. This is what they're doing. Here's what discipline has to do with having that successful side business. This is something I'm working through personally in my own life. One of the biggest keys that discipline is doing for me right now, and that I think that we all have to be mindful of and hold ourselves accountable at work, and especially when it comes to your everyday life, is forces conversation. Some of us have no idea just how important it is to think. Honestly, I'm not being funny when I say that. I'm saying the importance of actually thinking instead of being on autopilot. You know what autopilot is? You ever been driving home from work one day and you walk in the house and you don't even remember the drive home? That's autopilot. You weren't conscious. You subconsciously drove all the way home. That 45, 47 minutes, that 56 minutes, you literally drove home unconscious. See, when you have to have a discipline, it's going to force you to wake up, and you're going to realize really quickly that maybe there's some things that I'm doing that, that's not it. Does it work for me to stay comfortable? Absolutely. If you want to stay comfortable, then keep doing exactly what you're doing. But if you really want to have a real side business, discipline will force you to have hard conversations with nobody else but you. And it's going to suck sometimes. See, why is that? Because discipline, we got to start talking about the time I spend doing something. We got to start talking about discipline will force me to think through my current routines. Discipline is going to force me to think about laziness, right? What areas in my life am I lazy? Discipline is going to make me consider all of those things. And here's something interesting that I love about discipline. Discipline will get us here. How bad do I really want it? That's the question. Discipline will end up forcing us down to that question. How bad do you really want this? You know what discipline is. You know how it feels. You know how it works. Heck, you got where you are in your career because you were disciplined enough to get there. You did the work. You made the sacrifices. It's not that it's not already in you. It's just that if you're building a successful side business and you had a great idea and you knew you could solve a problem in the marketplace, the question is going to come down to how bad do you really want it? And what does that mean? That means that it's going to come back down to your discipline. How you spend your time, where you spend your time, what are you reading, what circle, like it's all of those things. What circles are you spending time in? These are things that they're the most critical, but it's hard because unfortunately we haven't always challenged ourselves. And success is a thinking man's game. It just is. Success is a thinking man's game. You can get hot for a little while. Yeah, that can happen. You can get hot. But a sustained, successful business, that's a thinking man's game. And the question is, how much brain power are you willing to put into thinking through your world, your days, your routines, what you're going to tackle, how you do things? It's all of that. What are you going to do? Hopefully you found this helpful.